Welcome to the fishing capital of the world. Whether you're looking to catch snapper, sharks, or even reef fish, Florida's waters have it all. Because there's so much to talk about when it comes to fishing in Florida, this video is going to focus solely on saltwater fishing. With plenty of fish to catch, there are plenty of rules you'll need to know about. For starters, you'll want to know what kind of fishing you want to do. While there's a general saltwater fishing license, Florida does get specific, like tarpon tags or spiny lobster licenses. But let's say you want to just do some good old-fashioned catch and release, whether that be from a boat or the shore. You'll first need a saltwater fishing license. You can purchase them online, over the phone, or at a county tax collector's office. If you're a resident, it'll run you $17 a year, or $79 for 5 years. You can also add on special permits for spiny lobsters, or even fishing for reef fish. So great! Now that you have your fishing license, it's time to have some fun. The list of fish to catch in Florida just goes on and on and on. In the Tampa Bay area, some of the most common fish to see are red snapper, grouper, tarpon, sheep's head, and a few others. Head further out into the Gulf and you'll run into all kinds of sharks, Goliath grouper, wahoo, mahi-mahi, and sailfish, just to name a few. If you plan to keep what you catch, you'll want to be familiar with the limits on how many fish you can keep, and the limits vary by species. We'll use grouper for example. Gulf grouper has a bag limit of 4 fish per harvester, while Atlantic grouper is limited to 3 fish per harvester. The Atlantic grouper regulations also include golden and blue line tilefish. In general, you're going to want to know your harvest limit, the minimum size needed to keep the fish, and if it's even the right season to harvest. There are also many ways to harvest fish. If you want something more adventurous than a rod and reel, you can use different types of nets or even grab a spear. However, where and what you can spearfish is pretty limited. You can't spearfish within 100 yards of any public space, whether that be a beach, a pier, or somewhere else. You also can't spear lobster, certain types of large fish like the Goliath grouper, stingrays, and sharks. The Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission recommends only taking fish you plan to use, like for eating. So please don't spear a fish just because, unless it's a lionfish. But we'll get to that in a minute. There's one group of marine life that you shouldn't eat, but you can harvest them. I'm talking about aquarium species. If you're into fishing near reefs, whether they're natural or artificial, you'll find all sorts of colorful species like the parrotfish and tangs. If you choose to take these animals, you are required to keep them alive. Along with these beautiful fish, you can also take certain corals as long as you keep them alive, like these zoanthids. Of course, there are limits on how many polyps you can take, but you should know how to identify corals because there are plenty of types you can't take from the ocean. However, though, there's one fish that is open season year-round, and Florida doesn't care how you kill them. In fact, they encourage you to kill them. She'll eat pretty much anything she can fit in her mouth, she has no natural predators, and she has venomous spines. She's the lionfish, and she's an invasive species. If you see a lionfish, be careful of their spines, but feel free to kill it. They are responsible for damaging coral reefs and decimating fish populations. They also reproduce extremely fast, making them even more of a problem. Florida actually holds an annual lionfish challenge that runs from May to Labor Day. In 2021, across nearly 500 participants, more than 21,000 lionfish were killed. The winner actually caught more than 1,600 lionfish. Lastly, when it comes to fishing, the FWC asks that you be responsible and mindful of your environment. That includes safely removing hooks, keeping fishing line out of the ocean, and respecting fish when releasing them. And don't forget to have some fun while discovering Florida's marine life. Considering the move to Florida, or maybe you're already here, tell me what you want to know about. You can email me at mjones@10tampabay.com, or you can find me on Twitter at KatieJonesTV.